Morbius is the latest entry in Sony's cinematic Spider-Verse, and it was terrible. Like, not even fun bad like Amazing Spider-Man 2 or Venom. This movie was painful to sit through. I already had little to no expectations for this movie when I first saw the trailer, and when it kept getting pushed back, I kind of just stopped caring about it until finally it came out. And it was still so much worse than I imagined. The story tries to go for this Jekyll and Hyde monster movie vibe, but it never got interesting. I was fighting to stay awake at several points in this movie. The script feels like it was written 20 years ago, and I know that's a complaint lobbied against the Venom movies, but that's somehow worse in this movie. The dialogue is basically all exposition, and none of the characters have any chemistry with each other. There's a romance subplot between Morbius and another character that is so forced and goes nowhere. None of the characters talk like real people. You can also tell this movie was botched in the editing, which I know you can probably chalk up to COVID and the movie coming out after No Way Home, which we'll talk about in a minute. But there are scenes that just stop. No natural transition between them, no natural ending. It just ends. The visual effects are absolute ass as well. The vampire face effect on Morbius looks bad enough already, but the effects get way worse during the action scenes. The way they're shot and edited, where they'll get a close-up of the two characters fighting, and then a bunch of brown and gray CGI debris on top of them, it just looks terrible. So by the end of the movie, all goodwill I had was pretty much lost. And then we get to those mid-credit scenes. First of all, they spoil the first half of the scene in the trailer, which I guess is par for the course at Sony at this point. So anyone excited to see Michael Keaton in the movie will be sorely disappointed. But the continuation of that isn't just stupid and obviously cobbled together, but looking at it in context post No Way Home, it makes no fucking sense. So the scene starts off by showing the tear in the universe open up, and then Michael Keaton's Adrian Toomes just appears in an empty jail cell and then gets released. But in No Way Home, the spell only sent back villains who had already shown up from their previous universes. So either this is a completely different Vulture that just happens to look like Michael Keaton, or they have some sort of villain exchange program going on since Venom is still in the MCU. But wasn't the spell supposed to make everyone forget who Peter Parker is? There were more non-Sony villains and characters that knew Peter Parker. Were they all supposed to disappear too? The second part of the mid-credit scene shows Morbius meeting up with the Vulture with some of the worst green screening in ADR, where he has his wingsuit, so I guess his clothes forgot Peter Parker too. He talks to Morbius about forming the Sinister Six, but they're anti-heroes now? Morbius is meant to be the hero in this movie, so why would he be interested in joining a team of villains unless the villains are going to be the heroes too? And if they are still meant to be the villains, then what's the point of forming a Sinister Six if there's no Spider-Man in this universe? People are speculating that this may turn out to be Andrew Garfield's universe, and that's cool, but that should have been the reveal. Everything about these scenes is fundamentally wrong and turns an already bad movie into something much, much worse. It's honestly so annoying that Sony is leveraging the success from the Disney Spider-Man deal to make all these shitty movies, because not only are they dragging their own franchise through the mud, but they're dragging a much more successful and well-planned franchise through the mud as well. I've honestly lost all faith in their non-MCU properties, and I'm genuinely kind of worried for Spider-Verse at this point. But yeah, Morbius sucked, it was painful to watch, but I'm kind of glad it's out now so that we can all forget it existed. I'd give it a 1.5 out of 5.